Alright kids, today's the day. Pending any unforeseen adversity, these orange corner lenses are going bye-bye. This is a project that I've been wanting to get out of the way for quite a while, at one point even going as far as trying to order other headlights from overseas to just avoid the whole thing and just straight swap them. As you guys saw, that didn't work out, but I still want to get rid of these orange corner lenses in my existing headlights because it'll make the car look so much better. It's not all that involved, it's really just going to be kind of time consuming. Luckily, I've got my friend John here to help me. He's still asleep right now, and I'm going to let him sleep for a little bit. But first, let me show you guys what all's going to be involved with this project. In theory, this project shouldn't be too complicated. Few nuts and bolts in each wheel well, some fasteners on the top of the front bumper, and it can actually just pull away enough to remove the headlights. It doesn't have to completely come off. Then just remove the headlights with a few bolts, heat them up, disassemble them, remove the inner portion that houses this lens, unscrew it, pop it out, reassemble, and you're good to go. Like I said, it'll probably just be more time consuming than it is difficult. So I've got the wheels off and I'm investigating around in here, and the fender liners are definitely going to have to come out, or at least be moved out of the way. I forgot to mention that before, but really, it doesn't look like it's going to be that big of a deal. Them wheels, though, they look just as good off the car as they do on. So far, this is really easy. Up under here, there are just some 5/16 bolts. There's one up here, and a couple underneath there. They'll be pretty obvious. It allows you to just move the inner fender liner away and completely disconnect it from the front bumper. You do that on both sides. Then, up here, this goes there. That's a 10mm bolt, and then there are these little Phillips head things on both sides. And then the rest is just the bumper pops out. So, really easy. Now the bumper's hanging freely away, and I have a feeling, since this headlight is pretty loose, that I'm not far from being able to remove those too. The headlights are completely free. All I have to do is unplug them. 10mm here, 10mm here with a little Phillips head screw thing, and a 10mm here is all you need to jostle the headlight free. I guess you could say this is a major project. I'm taking entire body panels off, but it's really, really easy. This is the easiest car I've ever worked on. I love it. Honestly, I cannot stress enough how much I love this car. One plug, and the rest of it is self-contained. If this were one of my older cars, it would have been at least 2, maybe 3 plugs. Amazing. After taking the headlights off, I noticed something. Honestly, like, my hatred of this car catching leaves was not unfounded. Now what is arguably the hardest part of this can begin. I have to heat these up and loosen up the glue around it and just pop the lens off so that I can get to the orange part. But before I can do that, I have to remove these 3 Phillips head screws, and I think that's it. Then I can heat them up and disassemble. John wanted to be behind the camera this morning. He's a little tired. I don't blame him. I almost didn't want to do this, but now I'm going to get the heat gun and start hitting this seam all around the headlight so that I can pry it apart. Hopefully I won't melt the lens. So the light's apart. It's in many pieces. What a pain that was, all to get to that. And I got a little ham-fisted on this first one, and there's a little crack there, but it'll glue right back together and no one will be the wiser. Hopefully this will go back together nice and clean. We'll have to be careful on the next one because we uglied up the end of the clear part. It probably won't be noticeable on the car, but yeah, so now all I gotta do is glue that piece together, reassemble, and repeat on the other side. Light number 1 is done and reassembled. I am going to set it out in the sun so that it can soften up a little bit, and I'll give it a big old bear hug before I put it back on the car, and I'll clean it and everything. But now, onto the other side, which is, basically the same thing. I'll try and be a little more careful this time. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be the prettiest, especially with using a heat gun, but now that I know how it's going to react, it'll be a little bit easier. and I've got help from my friend, so it's okay. So the car is all back together now. The headlights are in, and I'm so glad that I did this. I skipped over a lot of things because we both needed our hands to be able to pry this apart and hit it with the heat gun. So I didn't get to film a whole lot of, taking it apart and reassembling it, but I definitely recommend this because it's super easy. It just takes a really long time. The really unfortunate part about these is that the first headlight was the guinea pig. Up here, it's kind of ugly. The plastic got a little melted, and the lenses, the lens up there got a little bubbly. Only I'm going to notice it's there. The passenger headlight came out perfect, didn't get melted or anything because we knew what we were doing. We took our time and everything. I'm going to put the wheels back on and I'm going to roll the car outside so we can get a better look at it. Before we do that though, John wants me to show you guys a cold start, or let you guys hear a cold start of his Racing Beat exhaust. It sounds a little bit louder and more diesel-y on video than it does in person. It actually sounds really good, and once it's warmed up, it goes nice and quiet, and you can only hear it when you're at wide open throttle. It's really good. Out in the sunlight, this looks really, really sharp. How do you feel, John?
Looks great.
If you want to do this yourself, it really is kind of simple. A friend helps, but I think that someone could achieve this same result working alone. It would just take quite a bit longer. Really, if you have any kind of mechanical inclination, is something that you can achieve in an afternoon. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you all for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Dude, it's not dirty when I look at mine.
Shit.
You owe me a Coke.
Them hood struts, though.